What's up, family? Welcome to another episode of the I Can't Help Them podcast. Yo, it's your boy, your host, Rodney Footman, and we back in the building with another episode. Yo, this episode right here, y'all see I'm twirling in my chair. Kind of like this, just twirl around just a little bit. Yo, but today we're going to talk about something that's subtle but dangerous. We're going to talk about overstimulated Christianity. Because some of us aren't spiritually empty, we're spiritually overloaded. How many of y'all know some people that's spiritually overloaded? Raise your hand. I raise my hand. Listen, too many sermons, too many reels, too many prophetic words, and too many opinions, and not enough obedience. Let's talk about it. Let's talk, especially the too many prophetic words. Every time you go somewhere, you get a prophetic word. You ain't moved on the first one. That's another topic for another day. But listen, we have more access to preaching than any generation in history. Listen, you can hear 12 sermons a week, 40 reels a day, 6 different theological debates, 5 prophetic words, and 3 church live streams. But access does not equal growth. You hear me? Access don't equal growth. We're consuming more but applying less. My gosh. We're consuming more but we're applying less. You can binge sermons and still lack discipline. Mm, I like that one. I'm going to say that one again. You could still binge sermons and still lack discipline. Listen, some Christians are addicted to experiences. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I just struck a nerve with some Christians right there. Some of y'all are addicted to experiences. Listen, y'all need the music to hit. Y'all need the atmosphere to feel heavy. You need a prophet to confirm, and you need a conference to recharge. But growth doesn't always feel electric. Sometimes it feels boring. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes it feels like consistency. And that's what a lot of y'all problems at. You ain't consistent. Listen, emotional highs are not spiritual maturity. It's not. Emotional highs are not spiritual maturity. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep messing with this mic. I'm gonna have to put it somewhere else. You don't want to do right. I'm sorry, y'all. But it's okay. Let's see if it worked right now. But yo, emotional highs are not spiritual maturity. It's character. Listen, some of us say we're hungry for God, but we're really addicted to stimulation. We really addicted to stimulation. We say we hungry for God, but we really addicted to stimulation. Listen, we hop from church to church, word to word, speaker to speaker, trend to trend. We never get rooted, we never planted, and we're never accountable. How many of y'all know some folks like that? Listen, I can tell you about the time. Listen, I'm not gonna even lie, nigga. I keep saying that word. I'm sorry, y'all, but I used to be a person that would hop from word to word. Like everywhere I went, I was always getting called out. You guys, some of my friends. Everywhere I went, I was always getting called up with a prophetic word. This prophetic word, this was gonna be that I was gonna do this, I was gonna do that, I was gonna do this, I was gonna do that, I was gonna be this person, I was gonna have this money, I was gonna have that money, I was gonna. But yet, these people were prophesying, right? But wasn't nothing changing in my life. And the reason nothing wasn't changing in my life, because I was hearing the same words from different people, but I wasn't moving on the words. I was just listening to the words and thought God was just going to magically poof, pa, out the sky, and He was just going to give it to me. Because I've been prophesied that I was going to be a millionaire, and trust me, I believe it. I receive it. I think I am going. Well, I ain't gonna. Ain't no thing. I know I'm gonna be a millionaire. But in order for me to be that millionaire, back in my early days, I just thought God was going to give me the millions of dollars. I didn't think I had to work for anything. But no, I have to work. I have to put a plan in place. I have to do something for God to have something to work with in order for me to become the millionaire. And not only that, I have to be consistent in what I do. That's the problem with a lot of us. We go from word to word, but there's no action. Even going from church to church. Now, I ain't never been a person that went from church to church. I don't think. Anytime I left the church, it was my time to go. And a lot of times I ain't want to go. And sometimes, sometimes God will, sometimes has to push you out, force you out in order for you to grow. And some of the places I was at, I had to be forced out just because I loved the people so much. And I didn't want to leave my comfortability. I didn't want to leave my comfort zone when it came to going to another church. I was comfortable where I was at. I know the people, love the people, all that. And even with me coming to Charlotte, like I did not plan on, to be honest, I didn't plan on being planted at no church. I even told my bishop that once. Listen, I was gonna go from church to church. Now me, I was gonna hop from church to church, visit churches, not really be planted nowhere, not really go nowhere, because I didn't want the accountability. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to be planted. And that was just from my hurt. I wanted to go from church to church particularly. But we thank God that God knows all and He sees all and He knows what you need. And God planted me at Unity with my pastors, our Bishop Fred D. Gooden III and Prophetess Jamila Gooden. Listen, I love my pastors now. I love them. And I thank God that I'm planted there. And I thank God that I'm rooted there. And I thank God that they hold me accountable for me and the things that I do, the things that I say, even the things that I post. Like, they hold me accountable. They don't just allow me to go off and wander and do what I want to do. No, it's accountability to what I have to do. If I say I'm going to walk this walk, it has to be some type of accountability, not only from God, but from your leaders. And a lot of us, we don't want that accountability from our leaders. We think that we can just do anything we want to do, how we want to do it, and it not be no consequences and nobody not check you. No, I don't want to be in that place. Get on me. Listen, that lets me know that you care about me. That lets me know that you love me. That lets me know that you want me to have a bright future, that you want to see me win. A lot of people don't want that. That's why they hop from church to church. Or they hop from church to church because they can't get their way. Man. Or the preacher don't preach the way they want them to preach, or the service ain't the way that they should be. This is what we call the overstimulated Christian, because you feel like it has to be a certain way or your way. As I was talking to one of my brothers earlier today, like, and even I've heard Bishop say it before, that we live in a generation where, excuse me, people get to choose the church they want to go to. Choose it. I didn't have a choice. I was sent. As you heard me say earlier, my plan was to go from church to church, visit church to church. That was my plan. But God had another plan. And I didn't have a choice in the matter when it came to the plan. I didn't have no choice. God sent me to Unity because He know Unity is where I needed to be birthed out. He know Unity where I needed to be healed. He know that Unity is where I needed to be loved and restored back to the place that He need me to be, and even farther and beyond. I ain't have a choice. Even when I tried to go somewhere else, it didn't work. So yeah, we are addicted to stimulations, church to church, word to word, speaker to speaker. Listen, you only we're gonna talk about that later on. Trend to trend. Like maturity requires stability, not constant movement, yo. Not constant movement. It requires stability, yo. And then you got too many voices. When you follow 25 preachers, whose voice are you actually growing under? Some people be having 15 different spiritual fathers and 15 different spiritual mothers. I'd be like, what in the world? Listen, what's going on? What's going on? Who are you accountable to? Because you can't be accountable to all these people now. Let's be honest. I had to turn sideways on my tail on that one. Who you accountable to? Who your pastors? All these spiritual fathers. Who your pastors? That's what I want to know. Who your pastors? Everyone has different styles, different convictions, and different phases. And now you're confused. You be confused. Because if you're constantly confused, it may not be warfare, it may be overconsumption. Sometimes God isn't silent, you're just overstimulated. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes God is not silent, you're just overstimulated. Because you got too many voices in your head. You listening to too many voices. Too many voices, yo. Listen, try this. What if you pick one teaching voice to sit under? Limit your sermon intake. Actually apply one message fully. Spend more time in prayer than scrolling. Growth is slow. Discipline is quiet. Obedience is repetitive. But that's where maturity is built. Jesus didn't entertain the crowd daily. Ooh, he withdrew often. My God. And if I ain't saying that right now, you ain't always got to be in the crowd, G. Even Jesus withdrew often. How many times in the Bible Jesus withdrew? If you ever seen Jesus was always going somewhere by himself. He had to get away from them folks. And some of y'all need to get away from them folks. Get away from them voices. Clear them voices out and listen to the one and true voice of the living God. Because listen, baby, I'm trying to tell you, like, these voices will confuse you and think you put you in a place that you don't need to be in. You'll be in the crazy house. I done seen it. You got too many voices going on. Too many voices on. If Jesus needed silence, why don't we? Why don't we need silence? If Jesus took the time to go away by himself and pray to the Father and be with the Father, what makes you think you don't need the same thing? But instead, you will rather listen to a sermon of 5 different sermons, 5 different preachers. You go to services to get 5 different prophetic words from 5 different people. You go to different services to get the music, to get a stimulation high off of your endorphins. And it really don't be and sometimes it might not even be the Holy Spirit. It just be your emotions. Your emotions. That's all it is. And what people don't understand, especially when it comes to these prophetic words, some of these people play on your emotions because you show them what you're going through. You show them that you're hurt, you're depressed, because you're all emotional. I was always taught when someone is giving you a word, you stand flat footed and look them straight in the face. You don't show no emotion. Because if they're a true prophet, it'll resonate with you. And if they know what they're talking about, it'll resonate with your spirit. And plus, God will already been dealing with you about the situation anyway. And the prophet is just coming to confirm what God has already shown you. Yeah, y'all might not like this, but we just being real. We have to stop being overstimulated Christians. It's time out. Listen, it's so much going on in this world. So much. Again, you could go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and stroll. Bruh, 50 different preachers come up, depending on your algorithm. Now, I don't know what you got in your algorithm. I know my algorithm. Preachers come up all the time. So I have to limit my social media time. Because if not, and I listen to one voice. That's my bishop, my pastors. I listen to their voice. I go back and listen to their messages on Wednesday night, on Sunday, and whether they do a teaching. My pastor has Car Chronicles every morning. She's on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Pastor Jamila Good, and she's on there every morning at 7 a.m. Bishop sometimes come on at 5 a.m. with God's Man on deck. So these are the people that I listen to. These are the people that hold me accountable. I've been in a place where I had too many voices. I've been in a place where and having too many voices will make you look at the person that you're sitting under sideways, especially if you are agreeing with another voice that's not your leader. Because if you agree with another voice that's not your leader, then you're gonna be looking at your leader sideways, like, well, they don't do that over here, or so and so say this to me. I like what they said better than what you're doing. I like what they're doing over there better than what you're doing. And then you might be put in a place to where you feel like you better than your leader. And your leader is not the person that's supposed to be watching over your soul or shepherding over your soul. It happens. It happens. I'm telling you from experience of what I know. I'm telling you from experience of what I know and what I've done. I've done it. I've had multiple voices in my head to where I didn't know which way I was going. One person was saying this, one person was saying that, another person was saying that. And it was to the point where I had one leader talking about another leader, that leader talking about that leader. And I was in the middle. And I respected all of them. I respected all of them, but I was confused on who I wanted to follow and who I wanted to be under, even though I was already under somebody. I was confused about who I wanted to be under because at one moment I wanted to be under this leader, the next moment I wanted to be under that leader, the next moment I wanted to be under that leader because I had all these voices in my head listening to them, going to their services. Sometimes I would skip out on my service to go to their service. Listen, I done it. There were times where all I did was church. I wasn't enjoying life. I was in church all the time. Listen, my brother Johnny Gladden can attest to this. He used to tell me all the time, "Yo, you need to live life." Even in my previous marriage, we church, and he used to tell me all the time, "Man, y'all need to date each other. Y'all need to date each other. Y'all go to church too much. Y'all go to church too much. Y'all always in church. Y'all always in the service. When do y'all go on dates? When do y'all make time for each other?" I didn't listen because I thought that me being in church was good. That was what I was taught as a young boy. Me being in church is good. And I'm not saying that it's bad not to, but I was a overstimulated Christian because I wanted to be in a service. I felt like it had to be a certain way. I felt like if they didn't do this, the service wasn't right. I felt like if they ain't do it this flow, the service wasn't right. I felt like if they ain't pray like this, the service wasn't right. If they didn't play like that, the service wasn't right. I was an overstimulated Christian. I was. But I thank God for delivering me. I thank God for setting me free from that. It's a dangerous thing. It's a real dangerous thing. And if you don't realize it, like you'll be confused for a long time. For a long time. That's why I said pick one teaching voice to sit under. Limit your sermon intake. Apply one message. A lot of people don't even apply the message. You just are consuming so much, but you're not applying. You're not applying anything. You're just consuming. And what's the point of consuming if you're not going to do nothing with it? As they say, you are spiritually constipated. You got all this up in you, and you ain't releasing none of it, or you ain't acting on none of it. You just constipated with all you consume with all this stuff, and ain't doing nothing with it. Nothing. You're not doing nothing with it, G. Listen, I'm gonna say this clearly, and I want y'all to hear me on this one. You don't need another word. You need to apply the last one. You don't need another conference. You need consistency. You don't need more stimulations. You need submission. Stimulated Christians produce shallow believers. You shallow. You shallow. If you're an overstimulated Christian, you are shallow. And you won't be able to know the deep things of God. You won't be able to know the mysteries because you're overstimulated, because you're consuming so much from everybody else, but you're not taking the time as Jesus did to withdraw yourself and really hear from the Father. Really hear from Him. Grounded Christians produce strong ones. Listen, I'm sorry. Listen, if this stepped on your toes, good. I'm glad. Stop being overstimulated. Listen, share this with someone. Listen again, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe to all of them. Listen, I've been loving the support that y'all been giving me. Listen, the numbers will keep going up, and I want them to keep going up. And I want y'all to keep sharing this with your people. Keep sharing this with everyone because, again, I'm just doing what the Father wants me to do with this podcast. And again, I appreciate all of y'all for listening. Every listening ear, I appreciate you. I thank you because you don't have to listen to my voice. You don't have to subscribe to my podcast. You don't have to download episodes. You don't have to do any of that. But I thank you so much that you do. Again, this is the I Can't Help Them podcast. See y'all on the next episode. Peace.